Good afternoon, students. How are you doing? Good day. Trust you are doing great. Wow, good to see you here again. Happy new month to you and your family. God bless you all. This is Mrs. Bolaji. In our last class, we talked about food nutrients. Last week, we talked about food nutrients, where we define food as any substance or anything, any edible substance putting in our mouth that is consumable, edible, and after consumption nourishes the body. It's called food. We said food could be liquid or solid, and I gave you examples of solid food. I said solid food like your swallow, like pounded yam, amala, eba, and so on. And I said water is also food because it's liquid, and beverages. Okay. Then we also talk about nutrients. We talk about nutrients, that nutrients are those chemical substances that are present in our food that we cannot see them with our eyes, but we can see them through the functions they perform in our bodies. So we talk about that, and we talk about the classes of food nutrients, where we mentioned carbohydrates. And we said carbohydrates, we talk about carbohydrates and the functions and the sources and the deficiency. That is, we talk about the functions of carbohydrate, that carbohydrate gives energy and then heat to the body. So we also talk about the sources of carbohydrate, where we mention rice, we mention cereals, and we mention grains. I gave you examples of them. And then we also mentioned the deficiency symptom, that if one does not take enough carbohydrates as you're supposed to take, as recommended by RDA, recommended dietary allowance, that there'll be loss of energy, loss of weight, and so on. So that is that. Then we talk about protein, and we said protein helps in growth. And I told you that there is no amount of protein that I eat as an adult that will make me grow taller. What protein will do in my body is to repair the worn out tissues in me, or worn out cells in me. And that protein is very, very good for you children because you are still growing. So we talk about that. And we talk about the sources, where we talk about egg, fish, milk, meat, and so on. Then we also talk about fat and oil, and I told you the fat and oil also perform almost the same function with with carbohydrate. It also supplies heat and energy to the body. And I gave you examples of margarine, butter, that some fish, and then what is it called, meat also contain fat. Where I mentioned that some food contain more than one nutrient. So we'll talk about that. And then we also talk about vitamins. We talk about the functions of vitamins, that is helps to fight germs and diseases in the body. And I gave you examples of vitamins like vegetables, your fruits, and so on. Then we talk about that if one does not take it, that what happens? Yes, one may have infections and then diseases. Then we also talk about water, we talk about mineral salt, and so on. And that water helps in digestion and so on, and bowel movement. So that mineral salt also helps to fight infections and other germs. So I think we talked about those things last week in our last class. So class, today we want to look at food hygiene and food preparation. Today we want to look at what? Food hygiene and food preparation. Now let's look at this. Food hygiene. When you say food hygiene, we're talking about the act of preventing harmful bacteria from growing in food. Hygiene generally has to do with maintaining cleanliness. The act of maintaining cleanliness, neatness, that is hygiene. Now, in hygiene, we have three types of hygiene. It's classified into three. We have food hygiene, personal hygiene, and kitchen hygiene. But here we are looking at food hygiene. And we say food hygiene is the act of preventing harmful bacteria from growing in food. Yes, because if you don't maintain hygiene during food preparation, I'm telling you, yes, bacteria will grow in the food, and it might lead to food poisoning, might lead to diseases, to contamination, and more. So that is the reason why you have to maintain food hygiene. That is the reason why you have to maintain what? Food hygiene. And this can be achieved by keeping the kitchen, appliances, tools, and yourself clean. It means that before you can observe food hygiene, you have to keep yourself clean. You must be tidy. You yourself preparing that food, you must look neat. You must look tidy. You must look neat. You must appear neat. Then, what that is your personal hygiene, your nails must be cut short. Your fingernails must be cut short. You must make sure that you take your bath regularly. You must keep your hair intact. Everything okay. And your kitchen also must be kept clean. Where you are carrying out the food preparation, the place must be kept clean. And the appliances and the tools you are using, those equipment, everything must be clean. Not that because my kitchen is clean and my utensils, you don't use utensils, you wash them immediately. Make sure when you are cooking, when you are working, you tidy up your work area immediately. And as well as washing, cooking, preserving, and storing food properly. And you must as well wash your food very well before cooking. Make sure you cook the food very well. Then preserving the food. If you are not using the whatever immediately, make sure you keep it with the one that is meant to be, or those that are meant to be kept in the refrigerator must be kept well. And your storage food, your storage and what is it called? The storing of your food must be properly, you must make sure it's properly done. Now, you store your food, if they are dry food, you store them in a dry container with good lid. What do I mean by lid? That's cover. Make sure you cover it well. It is also known as food sanitation. That is, food hygiene is also known as food sanitation. Now we want to look at the importance of food hygiene. The importance of food hygiene. Number one, food hygiene helps to keep food safe to the customer. Okay, I told you that now I have a catering shop where I sell snacks during this COVID. What is it called? Yes, but I have to practice my trade. Like I've been telling those of you that were present in our virtual class then, when I was teaching you vocational training. So, importance of food hygiene. I said, one, food hygiene helps to keep food safe to the customer. I look at my surrounding, if I discover that there are flies on them, I try to put what will chase those flies away. I make sure that whatever I'm doing, I wash my hands very well. I cut my nails. I make sure that my surrounding is very, very clean. And when people go, when they come patronize me, they are impressed, and they are loving to come again because the place is neat. I'm telling you, because they know that they are safe. They've eaten this one. Some people will be scared to eat from any place because they never can tell how the environment and everything is. But when people see that your place is neat, they will be patronizing you. They will have it in mind, they will believe that they are safe to consume your food. Then it ensures customer satisfaction and increase business. What are we saying? Customer will be satisfied with what they are buying from you. And when they are satisfied, they will always come to buy again. They will always come and buy, and they will also tell their friends and colleagues and whoever, their neighbors, to come that they are safe. So by doing this, you are increasing your sales, your business. That is that. Number three, it increases the shelf life of food, that is prevents food spoiling. Like I said earlier, if you don't keep your food, maybe you have leftover and it's not properly kept, I'm telling you, you will have to trash the food. You have to dispose of it. You have to throw it away. And by doing that, you are wasting the food, you are wasting your money, you are wasting your resources. So now, if you maintain food hygiene, it will help you increase the shelf life of that food. That is, that food can stay for a longer period. And by doing this, it helps to prevent what? Food spoilage. Number four, it contributes to higher profit. It contributes to higher profit. Now, you have maintained food hygiene. People are coming to buy. You will see that because people are coming to buy, you'll be having more profit. Your sales will increase. And by when your sales, when you are selling more, the more you sell, the more profit you make. So that is it. Number five, it prevents food poisoning. It prevents what? Food poisoning. I'm telling you, if you don't maintain food hygiene and you allow flies to perch in your food, you allow cockroaches to come there, you allow rats to take part of the food and so on. I'm telling you, by doing this, they are poisoning the food. By doing this, what? They are poisoning the food because they've contaminated that food. So, and when one has contaminated food, this is very, very, it's poisonous. So make sure you keep your food properly. So these are the importance of food hygiene. So let's make sure you maintain food hygiene. Make sure you carry out what? Food hygiene. Observe it. Now let's look at ways of handling food for safety. Ways of handling food for what? For safety. The first thing we do is to, that is, how do you handle food for safety? The first thing you do is to clean and disinfect work surfaces and different kitchen equipment, e.g. zincs, knives, chopping board and so on. Yes, maybe you never can tell if rat has what is it called, walked over the knife, if what is it called, cockroaches and so on, and your cutlery and whatever, and keeping equipment. So even the zinc, yes, I discovered that at times I will see what get go in my kitchen, and then even in the zinc, I'm like, this is disgusting. So I've been using hot water to do what? To wash the zinc and cockroaches at times. So that's what I've been doing, because that is why it's not good to leave what is it called, unwashed plates, or your plate or whatever inside the zinc. It's not good to leave it in the zinc over the night. It is not good. So you do this, make sure you disinfect, you wash them very well with soap and warm water. That is that. Then wash your hands before preparing food and after touching raw food. So you wash your hands before food preparation and after touching raw food. Yes, that one is very, very necessary. Make sure you wash your hands after before preparing your food, but you must have touched different things, different bacteria, which they can't be seen. They can only be seen through microscope. So make sure you wash your hands very well, and when you touch raw food, before handling cooked one. Number three, do not handle food when you have cold. When you have cold, like you are sneezing, coughing, don't handle food, eh? Because of bacteria. So you don't contaminate the food. So then do not sneeze on yam without covering your mouth with a handkerchief when you are cooking. And you sorry, and you are cooking, you are spreading what? Bacteria in that food. So Make sure you observe all these things. Then number 5, do not use broken or cracked utensils. Do not use broken or cracked utensils. Yes, because they are, these things are made with different chemicals. So, and by the time you try to use them, you never can tell if you have the, what is it called? The wares, the broken wares in your food, or you have to contaminate them. Aside that, you can even injure yourself. So number 6, defrost food correctly. Defrost food correctly. When you are defrosting your food, make sure you do that correctly. Defrost it correctly. Then number 7, do not smoke in the kitchen. Do not smoke what? In the kitchen. And 8, wash all utensils used in the kitchen immediately, like I've said earlier. To avoid them being contaminated, you make sure you wash them properly and then immediately. Now we want to look at food providers. We want to look at food providers. Who is a food provider? We said food providers are people who provide food, drinks and services for a party. For a party, people and establishment. It means that these people provide food, drinks and services for a party, for people and establishment. When you say establishment, we're talking of different organizations. So when we talk about people, we're talking of different people. And we're talking of party, we're talking of different events. So now, it means that this food provider, they could be the caterer. Are you with me? They could be the caterer, they could be the food supplier or whatever. So they provide food for, it could be raw food that they are providing, or it could be cooked food that they are providing. They are in charge of handling food and drink so as to meet people's need. They are in charge of handling food and drink so as to meet people's needs. Yes, they are just like catering craft. When we say catering craft or caterer, the caterer dey provide food and drink in order to meet people's need. So maybe some people, there are those that are away from home, those are on what is it called, journey. So the food provider helps in this. The food providers help to do this. They provide food and drinks for them in order to meet their needs. Now let's look at the responsibilities of food providers. That is, what are their functions? What do they do? Their duties. They provide food that is safe for consumption. We have talked about that, about in food hygiene, importance of food hygiene. So these people now, their duty is to, yes, these people now, they provide, yes, their duties are to provide food that is safe for consumption. They provide food that is safe for consumption. It means that they work in a good environment. They maintain food hygiene, personal hygiene and kitchen hygiene in order to give safe food to customers. Number 2, they ensure they provide the same quality that was advertised by the organization to the customer. There are some companies, it's different thing they will advertise to you, but when it's time to get that thing, they will be giving you inferior ones. But food providers now, they make sure that they give the same thing. When they advertise to you now that, oh, we are selling some sardine bread, it means that you must meet that sardine inside the bread you are buying, because they have advertised it. That is that. Then they ensure they don't mislead customers with their label, advertisements and market strategies. Yes, some people, because of what they want customers to patronize them, so they will have different thing in their label, and is another thing they will have inside. So it's just like that. Then they display their food hygienically. Yes. Yes, any food that is not displayed hygienically, I'm telling you, I used to tell my students, I said there was a time tetrazzini is an eatery. That time, I used to listen to the advert. Everybody tells me about Zini. Then, so, and I discovered there was one time, I think they said the what is it called? The eatery was locked down, and I heard it. I saw it in the news. That night, I watched the news and I saw that it was a long time, not now. So their environment, they show their environment that they were preparing food in dirty environment and something like that. Because you will not see the inside, it's the outward appearance that you only see. So then, but I think after the lock, when they lock up their this thing, I think they opened it, and then they adhere to government's rules. So that is that. Number five, they deliver the goods on time and as ordered for. So the food providers make sure that they deliver their good on time and as ordered for. Now let's look at food manager. We want to look at food manager. Who is a food manager? A food manager is different from a food provider. A food manager now controls, while a food provider provides food. But manager now controls the food, everything involving, even he controls the food provider. A food manager is the person that controls the food and drinks provided by the food provider in order to give a good and perfect end result. Yes, because if there is nobody to manage or to control those that are in charge, people, when they see their manager or when they see their bosses, they want to work well. But when they are not there, I'm telling you, they want to do what they like. So that is why the manager comes in now. The manager controls, and he guides the food and drinks and those that are even providing that the food provider in order to have good results. Let's look at the responsibilities of a food safety manager or managers. He or she provides training for food safety and quality requirement. He provides training for food safety and quality requirement. Now, he's in charge, he's the boss. So for these food providers to function well, the manager will have to organize training for them. He will counsel them, he will tell them everything they need to know about how to handle food so that they will carry out their own functions. Then it means that they will give them the quality requirement, the quality counseling, and then what is it called? The training they require to know what they are supposed to do and to do it right. Number two, they verify and monitor all activities and products to meet the food safety standard. They verify. It means that they look into, they make sure that, okay, they make enquiries and monitor. They also monitor, they make sure that they monitor, they see to the activities and the products to meet the food safety standard, to meet the set standard. They have set their standard already. This is how they want to do it. They want to have quality and what is it called, product for their customers, and they have to monitor it. They have to make sure that the goals they have set, they achieve it, they meet up with that standard. Number three, they update existing food supply procedures as every time to meet changes. They update existing food supply procedures. Yes, they make sure that the food provider are providing food. So they will now make sure that they give the food provider what is trending. That is whatever is in vogue. Whatever procedure we are taking now. For example, look at cake now. Cake decoration now. Butter is raining. We have cake drip, and we have what is it called? Aubrey effect. So those ones that they will now make sure that they update there was one time I went to the eatery, I saw that decoration, I said, wow, cake drip, wow, Aubrey effect. Yes, because they saw that it's trending. Then number four, they inspect and see to the proper main ten ance of equipment in food production to meet food safety standard. So they make sure that nothing disappoints the food provider. They make sure that their working tools are intact so that there won't be any disappointment in order to what is it called, so that it will not, so as it won't affect their standard. That is that. Now I want to look at kitchen hygiene. I told you that there are three types of hygiene. We have talked about food hygiene, we have talked about food provider, we have talked about um, food manager and their responsibilities. Now I want to look at food hygiene. So, like I've said, in order to keep the kitchen clean, and we want to look at kitchen hygiene rather. So I told you that in order to keep your food clean, or to keep the kitchen clean, or to prevent it from contamination, the following rules should be observed. Number one, keep work surfaces clean at all times. I used to tell my students, as you work, clean your work area. That's the important thing. Yes, food hygiene. Use only clean utensils and dishes in the preparation and serving of food. Keep refrigerator and other food storage places very clean. Wash up dishes after use with soap and water and clean by turning them upside down. Then cover the dustbin with fitting lids, that is cover, and empty them regularly. That is that. We also have personal hygiene. We have personal hygiene. In personal hygiene, it has to do with taking care of oneself. That is, you wash your hands with soap and clean water, rinse and wipe them dry before beginning to work in the kitchen. After each visit to the toilet, okay, sweeping and dusting. Make sure that you do everything. Avoid having long fingernails, like I said, and the use of nail polish. Avoid the use of jewelry on the finger, like your ring, and even on your, what is it called, your wrist, like your wristwatch when you're cooking. Then care must be taken so as not to sneeze or cough over food. Avoid putting on too high heel shoes in the kitchen. That is that. Now let's look at methods of cooking food. There are different methods of cooking. When you say method of cooking food, that is different ways you can cook your food. The first one is boiling. For example, you have your rice in boiling water. You cook. Boiling has to do with cooking in boiling water for like 100 degrees, boiling at 100 degrees centigrade boiling point. Then stewing, it is a method of cooking food slowly or at a low heat in a small quantity of water. For example, your soup and so on. You cook it gradually. Eh? When you want to make stew, you allow the pepper to get dry. So that is what is meant by that. Then steaming is the act of cooking food in the steam from boiling of water, e.g. moi moi. Another one is egg custard, like the way you are not cooking the moi moi directly inside that boiling water. You have to wrap it or put it inside a container and cover it up before you now put it inside the boiling water to steam. It's that steam that is cooking the moi moi. Then number four, we have frying. It is the process of cooking food in hot oil or fat, e.g. akara. And we have so many of them. Fish, meat, you can fry your fish meat. And there are different types of frying. We have sauteing, we have deep frying, and we have shallow frying. Example of sauteing, that's frying, is your pancake. Just add little oil, just drop of oil to fry the food, or to, yes, saute the for your sauce. Then your shallow frying has to do with frying of fish, where you still have um, like, okay, some quantities of oil. And then deep frying has to do with using more oil, plenty oil to cook, to fry. When you have, for example, donut, pop pop, chin chin, where the food will float on the surface of the oil. That is that. Now I have assignments here. I will send your notes to Prodigy Resources. You will see your assignment there. Make sure you copy your notes and do your assignment and submit to my box. Make sure you take care. If you have any question, send your question. We'll still be meeting on live classes, but for now, okay. So take care. Bye bye. See you in our next class.